You're listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the longest-running Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
We're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking to my ball. Cause we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins #1.
Hello, Dolphins fans. This is another fine week of Dolphins matchup. We just got cans and cans and cases of whoop-ass built up over here at DolphinsTalk.com because that's what was getting distributed to those damn Buffalo Bills, those Buffalo chips out there last week. That's what they looked like, a bunch of little fried up turds out there on that hot field in South Florida. That's what we love to see. Cans of whoop ass is about the only thing that I think maybe that they don't got at the number one source for Miami Dolphins merchandise, Caneswear.com. The big boss man at Mike Levy earlier on this week, I was listening to one of the shows here on DolphinsTalk.com. So many fine shows to listen to about the Dolphins. And he almost said where you can find all the finest Dolphins beer, but he said gear. I almost said beer. I said, hey, maybe Caneswear will have that next, Dolphins beer. What they do have is the best selection of jerseys, shirts, hoodies, sweatpants, anything that you could possibly want for the Miami Dolphins since we're feeling good about the team on this particular week. Maybe Mike McDaniels can slap a few decals onto that fine vehicle he had when he was driving by talking shit to all those Buffalo Bills fans and I hope that all of you were at the stadium, were talking crazy to those people. How dare they think they're going to come down and come into our stadium and have a fun time? Y'all didn't have a fun time either. I hope it's a shitty flight back to Buffalo, you bunch of punks. You could have been talking all that and more wearing your gear from Caneswear.com. Also, if you are so blessed to be in South Florida, after you check in with the Baron of South Florida, my co-host, Robert Burns, go down to 2655 South University Drive, Davie, Florida. Check out their brick and mortar location, Caneswear.com, the number one place for your South Florida sports gear. Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, Miami Marlins, whatever you need to do, they got it. And in spades. Maybe they got some Miami Dolphins belts that we could use because there was one getting used Sunday, belt to ass on the Buffalo Bills. It was a lovely thing to see. Our main man, the only thing I do have to say, our main man Tua managed to throw 2 interceptions in just 21 attempts. Just 21 attempps. He managed to throw 2 interceptions. Damn, he did his best to throw a third one as well, but Jalen Waddle made an amazing play in the end zone to turn it into a touchdown catch. But hey, we got the dub. It's amazing what happens. I mean, we've said this many, many times on this show, and I guess we'll just keep saying it. It's amazing what happens when you run the ball effectively. This might be a topic for some of the other stuff that I do out there. I've been telling y'all, these Bills ain't going no place. No run defense, no perimeter weapons. Those things were on full display last Sunday. It came true as much as anything could possibly come true right in front of everybody's eyes. How are you feeling about Sunday's performance there, Robert Burns?
I mean, it is wild. It was what show are we on? I feel like a week ago we were talking about brown bags over Dolphins fans. Now you got us taking out the championship belt to whoop Bills fans. I don't know what Twilight Zone week we're going to have on Sunday morning in a whole nother country and playing a team that is about as shell of themselves as possibly can be. I think a lot of people are disappointed in what the Washington Commanders are, but you're right. The Buffalo Bills last week looked like pretenders versus a team that just beat the Kansas City Chiefs a week before. Close game again in Kansas City, come down to Miami, and it was probably the definition of a trap game, right? You're getting a team off of not only a high of beating a championship caliber team, but beating a rival, going and having that chance to have another regular season win over the Kansas City Chiefs, playing the lowly Miami Dolphins with 2 wins at the time, felt like it was almost a guarantee. And it was the definition of a trap game, right? And so Miami had them, I guess, right where they wanted them and stuck to the run. And despite the first drive of the game, Tua throwing an interception.
And that's what I was about to say. We even spotted them. The worst possible start possible with a what was a false start. God, we love false starts on this team. And then an interception and still bunch of nothing.
And so even despite that, I think when a lot of Dolphins fans saw that and the fans, see the interception, they go, here we go again. It's just going to pick right back up. And it didn't. And somehow the defense held and somehow the Dolphins were able to get big gash running plays from Devon Achane, and they were able to get big pass receptions from Jalen Waddle and somehow won the game. But I was telling you off air, I was at a 7-year-old birthday party and we had the game on my phone and we're watching it and my buddy and I look at each other and we're looking at the score. It says 16-0. I said, wouldn't that be something if they lost 17-16? Find a way to lose this game. And then they score again. I said, wouldn't that be something? They lose 24-23 or whatever it was at the time, and they find a way to lose that game. And I don't think anybody felt comfortable on the Dolphins side at any point in that game, knowing how fast Buffalo could put points on the board, how fast Josh Allen could, but it never happened. And so they had a heck of a win. It turns a lot of the narrative around. It makes everyone feel better, but it's still a 3-7 team going up this week against another 3-7 football team. Now, can they string together a group of wins? Yeah. Is it going to take them anywhere? No. It's not going to get in the playoffs at 8-10 or 9-7 if they win out somehow. So I would keep those expectations way down on the floor.
Well,
is it going to improve the optics of Mike McDaniel as a coach and Tua as a quarterback? It depends, but it make you feel better, right? Or worse? Or will it make you feel worse that they're winning games and getting just another middle round draft pick as you go along? So for fans, it's what would you rather have? Would you rather have them string together a couple of wins, or would you rather have them and just quit? Or would you rather have them, lose these games in hopes of a better draft pick that may or may not even hit?
So a little bit I almost feel like a little bit of that, some of that logic that some of these fans might have might be a little bit knee jerk, because when you talk about a draft pick, a high draft pick, what do you have in mind? Because if it's replacing the quarterback, they're probably not going to be picking high enough to replace the quarterback at this point.
Agreed. Yep.
So after that, it's like,
what do you get? You gonna get another?
Is there anybody that you love that much that it's worth
getting another safety
on the rest of the season? The AFC is pretty bad, man. The AFC is pretty bad. We've seen this team hang with the Bills once, whoop the dog shit out of them a second time. I don't know. I don't know. And dare I say, and this is of course the words of doom when talking about this team, winnable game this week. So
yeah, winnable games coming up the next handful.
You might be right. They might run the table and still have no chance, but the only way to find that out is to win the next one. Our queen and leader Elsa, just do the next right thing, right? So let's try to see what we can do on the next game.
And here's the thing: this week, a lot of familiar faces are in this matchup. You're looking at guys like Noah Igbenogany. You're looking at guys like Laramie Tunsil. You're looking at guys like the brother of our left tackle on the other side of the football field. These are familiar faces to this football team and to this football franchise. So going against Washington, and I will say this: there will be no Jaden Daniels, but Marcus Mariota, you can't sleep on.
No, I was just about to say, I can't believe it, but kind of have to give it to Tua this week. But
yeah.
But Mariota has been very good for them. He hasn't been, I'm going to elevate the team, but he's been pretty damn good for them. So I would not take that part of this lightly. Obviously, it's a lot better than going against Jaden Daniels. How do you feel about the quarterbacks?
Yeah, I agree. I think Tua is the better of the two options. Jaden Daniels there, it's not even a question. You've got 32-year-old Marcus Mariota. He's 1-3 this year as a starter. He's serviceable, You know, he's a guy that if you need him to come in and maybe win you a game, maybe 2 games, if you need him to come in and play half a season, probably not at this point in his career gonna be able to lead you to the playoffs. So made some fine throws last week too, seeing the field a little bit better. Despite the interceptions, made some fine throws that helped Waddle not have to stop as he was running to catch the ball or jump so high in the air. So I lean towards Tua on the quarterback because he is the better quarterback at this stage. Is he applying himself? Is the question. Which version of him are we going to get? We're going to find out.
I was cackling after that. Second play, first actual snap. He throws the pick, and then they just cut to him, and he's just on the sideline, just sipping a drink, just sipping a cup of water, just backwards hat, no bigs. It happens. Hey guys.
Running back, actually, to me, Eric, is a little more difficult to me because it is the group versus the one. You're looking at a guy on Miami side where you have Devon Achane.
Beginning to be inclined to believe that you are a hater, sir. Because our man, you downplay Devon Achane every week.
Listen to my argument, my friend. And I'm going to go towards Devon Achane. I have more confidence in him. But Achane is now fourth in the league in rushing yards after such a 175-yard day. But Washington has a group of guys that are number 7 in rushing offense. So they put together a crew despite Austin Eckler being out. I'm just saying it's not as a runaway, no pun intended, as it probably looks on paper. You're like, who the heck are these guys? What's the line from Major League? Who the heck are these guys?
Yeah.
Versus a guy with Devon Achane, you're getting Ollie Gordon back coming off a little bit of injury, but Washington can run the ball. Don't get that wrong. They can run the ball. Their rushing offense is really well. Miami just, when they do it better.
No, so yeah, and I think we would be remiss. Like you're right. They have a talented group. Chris Rodriguez has looked good. Bill McCroskey-Merritt, Big Bill, was one of the star players of the early part of the season. Has tailed off a little bit now, but still a fine back. They do have a talented group. You're not wrong about that. I just love what our backs are doing, and the results have been good every time they get the ball. We had mentioned in hushed tones something that, a lot of people were afraid to say that, hey, once this Tyreek Hill injury, what's the offense going to look like? Mm-hmm. A couple of times it has proven out to be more effective, more efficient, shackling Mike McDaniel's worst habits. And
when you don't have a $50 million wide receiver you feel like you have to feed, you can kind of go to some of the playmakers a little bit more on the outside of your roster than trying to force it 10 times to Tyreek and these bubble screens or comebacks or whatever he's trying to run out there. And so the offense, look, 2 out of the past 3 weeks, this has been one of the better teams in football, right? Falcons, Buffalo.
Yeah.
The dud in the middle, we don't really count right now.
So Jalen Waddle's done a fantastic job as the number 1 wide receiver. He's the 7th ranked wide receiver on PFF right now. Mm-hmm. Still liking some more out of Washington and Westbrook-Akine, but it's been enough. Again, Dulcich looked fantastic last week when he did get the ball. It was limited attempts, but when he did get it, he looked damn good. Hey, I'm excited to see things working out that I kind of figured would once he got into the right situation and the right opportunity. On the other side, Commanders missing also their best wide receiver in Terry McLaurin, so they're missing run TMC
Terry.
And they're missing Jaden Daniels. So good opportunity for this Dolphins defense. Their rookie wide receiver Lane not doing much to speak of. Robbie Chosen, he's out there.
Yeah,
Debo Samuel's done what he's supposed to do decently, but as long as you have a beat on him, let me tell you something. As somebody who's watched a lot of Debo Samuel, you cough on him the right way, he'll come out of that game. Like he don't want none of this. So not concerned. I'm gonna have to go skill group, and then their tight end Zach Ertz.
82-year-old Zach Ertz.
82. His name is gold forever in the region that I live in. Zach Ertz will never pay for a drink in the greater Philadelphia in Delaware County ever again. But he is past the prime of his career. He is in the twilight of his career. So I'm giving the skill group to the Dolphins.
Yeah, I agree. I think Miami, has the better skill group. If Terry McLaurin were playing, different story. But I think when your biggest threat is Debo Samuel, and I think Miami might be able to, put a couple of hats on him. I don't see Zach Ertz as the one that beats you. 200-yard tight end game, not going to happen probably out of Zach Ertz from Marcus Mariota unless we're going back 10 years. And so with the group that they have just so beat up and not really able to help out Mariota so much, and Tua's been getting the help that he needs. And you're right,
Yeah.
Dulcich, holding on to the ball. That's all I care about. Get to your spot, catch the ball, go down. I don't really care if you run for an extra 50 yards or not as my tight end in Miami's offense. Just be another option that holds on to the ball.
Offensive lines, it's tough to ever go any other way other than the other side. Washington's offensive line overall has been having a real solid season, especially in the run game. Center Tyler Biada's been real good. Laramie Tunzel has always been good and is having another fantastic top 10 season this year. Their line's been good. On the other side, I know you're going to be sad to hear it. I'm sad to hear it. There is a very good chance, as the news was broken earlier on this week on another Dolphins Talk podcast, this might be the last game at right tackle for Larry Borom. I know we're all very disappointed to see him go. And I know you guys are also disappointed that we're probably not going to get Liam Arkenberg back in there. It's going to be the practice
what are you
window
doing?
for Austin.
You're just destroying all of our Christmas cheer at this point.
I'm telling you, the practice window for Austin Jackson is opening next week. They have a bye after this, so it's probably going to be Thanksgiving weekend before we see him, but Austin Jackson most likely is coming back for that game. Larry Borom, we hardly knew ye. I'll always remember how you basically single-handedly set up the downward spiral in the Ravens game. Thanks for your service. So giving it to the Commanders. Defensive lines, we're still – hey, they stepped up last week, the Dolphins defensive line, especially after we all watched. I think Jalen Phillips had 7 sacks, 3 touchdowns, 4 forced fumbles,
he's the
17
happiest
tackles.
he's ever been in his entire life.
Yeah, and he actually, I think he did more in that Eagles game than he did in his entire Dolphins career, just in one game. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for well, he was doing just enough to get out of town.
The almost became actually happening. Hey, the defensive line stepped up well last week to help the defense slow down the prolific Bills offense. Dalvin Cook did nothing against them. So while the defensive line for the Commanders has better grading, I'm not gonna. I'll go push. I'll go push for front sevens because hey, the Dolphins front seven showed the hell up last week.
Yeah, I lean a little bit more towards the Dolphins side, and it was James Cook last week, not Dalvin. I lean a little bit more towards the Dolphins side, getting Chop Robinson back, and being able to have a full game with his concussion now behind him. Hopefully, he's able to break out a little bit more, and so I think having that extra depth come through, and I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Kenneth Grant playing alongside with Zach Sealer, and Bradley Chubb's going to have a tough time going against Laramie Tunzel, and we kind of know that. It's just I think it's if you take out that left side of the defense, then does everybody else make their mark and hold their gaps as they should? Because I would say that if they do, have fun trying to get past a guy named Jordan Brooks and the rest of our linebacking core, because that they're just playing their hearts out, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a mirror in that the defensive line isn't doing too much on the side of the Commanders. Kinlaw, Golden, surprise on Kinlaw. Oh man, Miller, Martin, not a whole lot going on. Same thing on our side. Their linebackers on the other side, Frankie Luvu, Bobby Wagner especially is having a fantastic season. Yep. But Tyler Dodson, Jordan Brooks especially crushing it, killing it. Jordan Brooks is the heart of the defense, up near the top of the league in tackles. Love it. Keep doing what you're doing. Secondaries.
Washington's beat up in the secondary.
Yeah, theirs are actually graded out more poorly than ours is, and that's saying a lot, as we all know. Rasul Douglas and Minka still number 5 and number 6 ranked. doing a great job. Jack Jones made himself a play
Yep.
last week,
Yep.
punching
Juju.
out a fumble Rooski. Love it. Melifonu and Trader are actually trending up in their grades. So they played a good game last week, the secondary did. And on the other side, the secondary for Washington is horrendous, terrible. This whole defense is beat up.
Based
The
on
skills
injuries,
are beat up. The
Marshawn
quarterback's beat
Lattimore.
up.
Yeah. You're going against Noah Egbenogany. Again, this is something that the Dolphins kind of know his strengths and weaknesses, or more of his weaknesses than strengths. So if he's going to be one of their top secondary options, I think Jalen Waddle can lick his chops just like he was in practice a few years ago. So I think that, I lean towards the secondary again. They made plays. Remember when they didn't have any turnovers, and now the defense is popping turnovers against Buffalo. They're getting turnovers against Atlanta. Like, they're picking their pace back up. And so the secondary for Miami just is gelling a little bit better now with playmakers coming through, and it's nice to see. And I keep mentioning all these names that we've heard and seen before. Von Miller, 92-year-old Von Miller on Washington's side, is also going to be out there on the field. So I don't know how much of an impact he has, maybe more than he had in Buffalo when he was there for them playing against the Dolphins. So
cashing checks.
he's cashing whatever he can get at this point.
But I don't know how much more he's doing for that team other than
I don't
taking
think
the
he
checks
has
to the bank.
I don't think he has a whole lot left in him. Just keep an eye on him though. He can't always have that one play that come out of nowhere. But Miami, I think, what is it? A clean sweep on the defense for Miami, right?
Yeah, I will push at best for the lines. I'll take our linebackers and I'll take our secondary. So
yeah,
pretty damn close.
I feel good with that.
Yeah. Special teams, nothing too crazy last week for the Dolphins.
Missed an extra point last week. So I don't know. Special teams are there. They're warm bodies. I
think the coach situation is kind of an interesting. This is like I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is like a mark my words kind of situation. We have witnessed more than one time this year this team coming out and looking very unprepared.
Yeah,
from a coaching aspect.
Agreed.
They're in Madrid. Mike McDaniels likes to get a little funky. Some of the team members are like to get a little silly. Quarterbacks showing up with pink eye. I'm just saying I would not be surprised.
Madrid, it's not Atlanta. Come on.
To see these things emerging on Sunday. But hopefully not. Coaching matchup, what are your thoughts? Because Quinn has looked like a fool this year too. So.
Well, Quinn has looked like a fool this year, but and I don't know if it's fool's gold last year, coaching a team that got to the NFC Championship game, or was that majority led by a guy at the quarterback position that the league was still catching up to? So how much of it was coaching? How much of it was lightning in a bottle with Jaden Daniels last year? In that respect, I almost feel like I want to lean towards Daniel Quinn, even though, and this is a petty reason, the backwards hat. He wears it like my nephew did when he was 8. It's so high and straight down, doesn't even look comfortable. I don't know what version of Mike McDaniel we're gonna get. Again, like the guy who calls a timeout before the first second runs off the clock, or the guy who has a really good game plan for a team, then they go out there and they handle their business. I don't know what I'm going to get, so I push at this point.
By the way, if you were listening to this, if you're a Dolphins fan, you're listening to this, you're at the game, go enjoy Madrid. Leave us playing because we'll take the views. But or if you're listening to it when you're going to bed after a beautiful night in Madrid, then I hope you had a fun, safe trip out there. We're naming all.
Anybody going to Madrid for the game?
There's a bunch of people on Dolphins Twitter who, I
don't know anybody going, but I know people
go.
I wouldn't get a passport for a Dolphins game this season, but
you would get a passport for a trip to Spain that just so happened to have a Dolphins game happening on it. There you go. Oh, so we've gone through. We're like, oh, the Dolphins take this one, the Dolphins take that one, the Dolphins take this one, the Dolphins take that one. So that means that it's going to be 35-6 Commanders, correct?
Probably. Probably. It could go either way. It could be 35-6 or it could be 35-6. The other way. I don't know which way to go. I picked the Dolphins for this one. I don't have a whole lot of faith in Marcus Mariota leading that team to a win, but I would not be surprised if it's a clunker. If Miami goes out there just flat again, just like they did a couple of weeks ago. And if that's the case, I think the roller coaster ride of man, they're really good this week to wow, what a bad blowout. And then back up the roller coaster against Buffalo, and then wow, what a blowout against Washington. Also, if the Dolphins win, as I will predict them to 24-13, if they win, then they're in really good position for me to not have to pay for that team dinner next year.
So I'm gonna go 30-17 Dolphins.
Okay.
My belief is so that's kind of how the Dolphins roll, right? They haven't won a game that's like 13-10. Like when they win, it's because there's a very large discrepancy in what the Dolphins are doing versus what the other team can defend against. And with this front seven looking the way it does, and the secondary looking the way it does, when this offense gets rolling, it's very, very good. So I think they're going to be able to put up 30 against this team. I'm going 30-17, which means it'll probably go the other way around, and they'll show up completely. And then I'll be sitting there, and I was like, "What the hell was I thinking?
What did I just wake up
a
at
Mike McDaniel run team in effing Madrid, Spain?" But hey, there we go. That's what's going to play out. Boulder, I have a fun Boulder Bowl for you. I thought of it
before you go, before we switch over. Here's the thing, and remember, fans, throughout the Mike McDaniel era, these are the games that the Dolphins win against lesser opponents, beat up teams. They're going in there, and this is the easy win, and everyone will still say they haven't beat anybody. This is the game that they win, right? Every year that Mike McDaniel has been here. So why would it be anything different? I almost feel more confident about the win thinking about it that way.
The Dolphins, think about this one now.
No, I'm gonna go rapid fire. Go.
The Dolphins will have more penalty yards off of false starts than they will points.
Ooh, man, you're good. Man, you are off of false starts specifically.
So that would say 4 false starts. That's 20.
Well, we both picked them to score more than 20, so bull.
Okay, yeah, there you go. I
now,
like
if
it.
Were more penalty yards on offense, if you're talking, if you're talking holdings, you're talking false starts, you're talking offensive pass interference.
Oh, I'm just talking just false because we love false starts so much on this team.
Philly gets away with it. Why can't everybody else get away with it?
I'm telling you what. Will this be, as we said it a couple weeks ago, these no-name running backs come in. All they needed was a matchup with the Dolphins, and they're tearing it up. So with that, and I like what you did last week with Allen and Cook combined.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do it because Mariota can run a little bit. Mm-hmm. The Commanders overall will have in excess of 150 rushing yards. Boulder Bowl.
150 rushing yards. Well, let's see. Well, I don't want to use last week as an example. That was against a very good Detroit team. Can't use the week before that. They lost to a very good Seattle team. Can't use the week before that. They lost to a pretty good Kansas City. The Cowboys. They lost again, 44-22, but we all can agree that the Cowboys defense is just god awful. Even though they had Jaden Daniels on the field for that game, looking at the stats, Jaden Daniels was the high runner, but what was the number you put out there?
150 total.
Bull. In this game, even with Jaden Daniels, they combined, and Marcus Mariota playing in the game, they combined for 136 against Dallas's defense. And I think the Dolphins defense right now is playing a little bit better than Dallas Cowboys. So I say bull 150. Because Marcus Mariota is not going to run for more than Marcus Mariota over under 35 yards rushing. I think that might be pretty close to the line, but
I'll go
45.
over because I feel like it'll be like on 1. I feel like they'll let the back door open and he'll go for 40 and a touchdown, but that'll be pretty much it. So this is where we get spicy now because I think we've been leaving the line. We're like Vegas, in the beginning of the year you get these fat lines and then they start being punk about it by the end of the year.
Mariota.
Tua, let's just go like less or more 2 interceptions.
That seems to be about the line, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I say less. I say less than 2 interceptions. He'll probably still throw 1.
Oh, he's gonna throw one.
He's due to get back to back to his old form and the interceptions and not force it so many times. And we talked about how beat up the secondary is and how you do have a different advantage. And I think there is different game plan schemes that come into play when you go across to different countries, right? I think you lean more on the run. You don't know what you're going to get. As far as the crowd, what the fields are like, especially on
condition,
especially on fields that are soccer fields, wide receivers, may not be able to, or defensive backs may not be able to cut as well. So I think that the game plan might run into a little bit more run heavy, especially seeing the success they've had. So I go less for Tua.
I will say this against this secondary, if he cannot manage to not throw 2 interceptions, I don't even know. I don't know who he's not. I don't know who else he's going to have a chance to not throw that many interceptions again if we can't keep it together against these guys. Well, we both predicting a win. We hope we can be talking about this again next week, and then maybe things will get a little bit interesting. But I think it's equally likely that we will both be staring off into space thinking, why the hell did I have any faith in a Mike McDaniel coach team in Madrid, Spain?
Now,
what is going on out here?
Real quick before we go, I don't want to give anyone hope. If the Dolphins win this week, that gives them 4 wins. The 7th spot currently in the AFC playoff picture has 5 wins.
So I was thinking the same thing because obviously I'm talking about stuff elsewhere, and we're talking a lot about how the Ravens, like the Steelers, are kind of wheezing out. There's other things going on in other divisions. The AFC kind of has a lot of fraud in it this year. I wasn't going to say that because I didn't want to send our man Patrick to the ICU with like an aneurysm or something like that. But you are correct. There might be, depending on some results this weekend, kind of an interesting conversation to have next week. I don't want to go there until we absolutely have to, because there's going to be people throwing some fits if we even talk about it.
Yeah,
but you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Let's get through 9:30 Sunday morning and see how it goes, and then we'll worry about can they beat the Saints, and then we'll worry about can they beat the Jets, and then it gets spicy.
Winnable games. I'm just saying.
And there's your teaser, everyone. That's called.
There we go. There's a teaser for next week. We'll see what happens. If you're out there in Madrid, have a fun and safe trip. If you're back home, let's all get up early in the morning and see what we got to talk about next week. Let's go, Dolphins fans.